Hello, and welcome to another episode of Oh No, Disney Adults with me, Drew, and my best Disney buddy, Harry. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. I thought you weren't going to speak for a second there, mate, and I was going to be like, this is primarily an audio format. Yeah. But you're good.
Yeah, all great.
Sweet. Yeah. We do this thing where we pretend we haven't just been talking for 15 minutes. And we've literally just come online with everybody watching at home, all 10 or so of you. Yeah, it's been another month's worth of news. We've got some interesting stuff to talk to you about today. As usual, stuff's happening. Stuff's always happening. It's one of the beautiful things about Walt Disney World. It doesn't stay the same. Things are always changing. Sometimes I'll whinge about that, but ultimately I think it's a very good thing. Sometimes I'll be a bit of a grumpy old curmudgeon guy, bring back Captain EO. But for the most part, I think change is a good thing. It's a reason to come back. It's new things to get excited about, etc., etc. And we're going to spend some time later on talking about what you can get up to on a rainy day in Disney World, of which there are many, depending on what time of year you go. So if we kick things off with a news roundup, what have you got, Harry? What's happening?
I've seen that Soaring Around the World is closing, I believe, and it's going to be soaring across America.
Yes, I've seen a couple of little...
What I've got, I believe that happened the other day.
Yeah. Well, this is all...
So last time to ride, well, it was.
Yeah, it's all in support of the 250th anniversary of Murica, from what I gather, because there's loads of merch and stuff as well. But this specifically, because I don't think it's permanent. I think it's a seasonal thing. I think they're going to run it till... Well, I don't know. They've not said how long they're running it for, have they? Or at least nothing that I've seen.
No, they've not said. I can't see anywhere anything to say they're only doing it for this year or something like that. As far as I know, it's meant to be possibly forever, but who knows?
Because making something like this isn't cheap. Like an entirely new reel and programming the way that the attraction moves and everything else, that's like a big investment of time and money. So whilst it's been designed for this big anniversary, you can only assume that it's going to be around for quite a while, because they've got 3 different versions for this ride now, right? Because they've got the regular Soarin', you've got Soarin' over California, which is the Disneyland one, so that's where you're literally just going around that one state, and then this new version, which is this big like celebration of the states and it having a 250-year birthday and stuff. So I don't know if they'll like alternate or if they'll change it out seasonally. Maybe I'm interested to see what they do, and for us it's exciting because it's technically a new thing to go and watch.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait, honestly. Like when I go, I'm very excited to see this. America's such a beautiful country that like there's so many things that they could put into this, and I think it's going to be lovely. Yeah.
Are you a big fan of the ride generally? Is that like near the top of your list when you're in Epcot?
Oh yeah. We go every time. I hope the smell is the same. For anyone that knows, or the smell, like I just hope it is the same. But yeah, me and Ellie always go on Soaring. Every time we're there, we go to Soaring.
Yeah, we're the same. I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of Brits, the amount of time that we generally go for, you get a good opportunity to kind of go on everything if you want to. But Soaring's one that I make sure I never miss. When I go to the land, I love living with the land because there's almost never a queue and it's really chill and it's just nice and relaxing. Soaring's great. Like you say, you get the smells.
It's such a good ride as well.
It is. It's great. And then, but you've got like Awesome Planet. I don't do Awesome Planet every time because it's just essentially sitting and watching a movie. But Soaring always happens. Soaring's always there. I think it will be interesting to see what it does to like wait times and stuff, because whilst that's usually a fairly busy ride anyway, I'll be interested to see if there's much of a spike in that in terms of like, the popularity and stuff, because that always happens initially when there's a change to a ride or a retheme or a redress or whatever. So it'd be kind of cool to see what's going on there. I don't know if you've seen this. I think this was today they did this, but they've set up stanchions after the pre-show in Guardians of the Galaxy. So, after you go through like the queue system and you do the bit with Nova Prime and Terry Crews and all of that, and then you're sort of filed, you go through to that like narrow corridor that leads you down to the actual ride system. you're in that big room, right? And that's like where the Celestial shows up and steals the MacGuffin. That can be a bit of a nightmare. I don't know if you've experienced this when you've been on the ride, like going through the regular queue system or anything like that, but everyone just kind of like bolts to that because it's a bit of a free-for-all at that point. I've had it both ways. I've had it where it's not been too bad, and then sometimes it's been like like a pack of, like in The Lion King where the wildebeest come down, it sort of gets a little bit like that where everyone goes a bit mad and nobody's being very British.
I always imagine it of like a load of fish queuing for like a school of fish just gathered in one area waiting for it to go to the next bit. We just walk through like normal, but I hate the lack of queue there. As you said, it's not very British, but I guess it's not in Britain, but like,
no, but
the Britain is stressed out.
I don't know. I think it's a difference of about 5 minutes in terms of you getting on the ride at that point, really. Like if you're at the front of that group or at the back, like they load pretty quickly at that point. So but that room beforehand, I think there were definitely issues, and I think a lot of people were quite vocal about that being maybe like a health and safety risk, because it's very easy for someone to get, trampled sounds a bit extreme, but certainly like knocked or, squished together and things like that. So they've put like, I don't think it's a switchback system. It's like they literally put you into rows and then they release a row at a time into that narrow corridor and you walk through. So I think it's good that they've addressed that. They've obviously listened to what people are saying. A lot of the cast members have obviously witnessed it firsthand and everything else. So it's nice that they're kind of doing something to stem that. So again, I don't know if that will be a permanent thing going forward or if it's just because they're coming into the summer season and they're expecting bigger crowds, more people, and whether that, once that tapers off again, sort of towards the end of August when like schools go back and stuff in America, whether that'll come away again, we'll see when we get there, I guess. But for now, apparently they've added that. I don't know whether they will be cosmic stanchions, whether they will be particularly sci-fi looking, or if it's just going to be your bog standard, I'm waiting at the bank to pay my checks and stuff. But it's cool that they've done something about it anyway. So yeah.
No, definitely. I think it's really nice they've done something about that.
What else, bud? What else is going on?
I mean, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party went on sale.
I don't know if you
managed to secure yourself some tickets, but sold out within around 2 hours.
Yeah, the first ones to go are always the first night and then Halloween night. They're always the two big dates in the thing. So you can usually, up until a couple of weeks before, you can usually get a ticket for some of the other dates, certainly, like, because they release them so early now as well, like this, not release them, but like the parties are so early. So I've got the dates here. The first one is the 7th of August. So I don't know about you, dude, but I struggle to feel particularly autumnal and Halloweeny on the 7th of August, especially if you're in Florida. It's a little,
definitely. It's not really the most autumn season at that point. It's just just getting there maybe, but they celebrate it well early there.
Well, the more parties they have, the more tickets they sell and everything else, I guess, to be cynical about it. But I mean, I've been to it before. It's a great time. It's really, really fun. I think what they typically do is tickets go on sale a week early for resort guests and then like general sale the week after. So I think you will even get a lot of the content creators and the vloggers will buy a night at like Pop Century or All Star on that first night so that they can get access to those tickets a week early, because they need to be there on that first night eating the snacks and saying hi to Jack and Sally and doing all the other sort of stuff. So are you going to that this year? I know, because you've got the your friends that you're taking along with you. Is that something that you're going to be doing with them, do you think?
We're going to that. We Ellie got straight on that, booked us all tickets for it.
Nice.
Can't wait. Honestly, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we didn't do it last year. I'm really excited for this one.
What's your favorite part of it? What does it look like for you? What do you do? Are you a trick or treat guy? Are you staking out the parade? Are you meeting Jack and Sally? Like, how do you tackle the Halloween party?
Because we've never been. I feel like what we're going to do, honestly, is probably like, we're probably going to do some like trick or treating. And then I'm hoping maybe to, meet Jack and Sally. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see the parade.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can also use it to get on rides, I probably won't be doing that as much because I
Mm-hmm.
want to actually enjoy
The exclusive stuff.
the activities you get to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's there that you can do any other time. And if you're, again, coming from the UK and you've got like your 2-week ticket or whatever, in the same way that like they have the restaurants open. So like Cinderella's Royal Table is open for bookings during the Halloween party. And I'm like, who in their right mind is spending $150 on their ticket for the Halloween party to go and spend 2 hours eating at Cinderella's? Like a restaurant that they're not doing anything special. Like it's just a restaurant that happens to be open. Like, you know, eat before the party starts, guys. You can get in from 4 and the party doesn't start till 7 with the Halloween ticket. So like, I don't know, man, eat them. I mean, ride wise, there's a couple that have the overlays. You get Space Mountain they do that completely in the dark. And then the Teacups has like a Halloween sort of themed overlay kind of thing going on it. And I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but previous years they have put live actors in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. They didn't do that the year we went, but I've seen videos of it. It looks really, really fun. So I think if I was going to do rides, they would be the rides I would do. Other than that, yeah, I would be trick-or-treating. I would be checking out the Cadaver Dans. I would be watching the Booty parade. I would be watching the Sanderson Sisters show at the castle, the exclusive fireworks. Like there's a lot of cool stuff that happens that's only going to happen at these parties. So yeah, that would absolutely be the way I go. I'm not 100% whether we're doing it or not yet this year. We're just kind of weighing up budget and everything else. So I'd like to, but it all just kind of comes down to, you know, is that $500 better spent somewhere else? Like we want to do Epic this year, so like that's something that's definitely going to happen. Then we've just got to kind of look at where else we're going to spend the money, because holidays ain't cheap. But it's a great time.
Yeah,
man.
We're doing Epic as well. We can't wait.
Yeah. Dark Universe, man. That looks like a place that's doing spooky properly.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Well, I found out. So I was considering doing Halloween Horror Nights as well. So, like, obviously, I'm not going to take my 8-year-old, and my wife is not particularly horror inclined either. So, especially with like, we joke that like her fight or flight response is definitely fight, and we're slightly worried that she would involuntarily punch an evil clown in the face, and we'd get banned from Universal for life. So we figured it wasn't a good idea for her to go, even if we could. However, as well as you guys being there at the same time as we are, I've got another friend and her husband who are going as well, and they're really into their horror. So I was like, oh, I'm thinking about running it solo, and they were like, oh yeah, well, we're going, we've already got our tickets, if you want to go, come on this date and you can just kind of tag along. I was like, yeah, that might be fun, because I think it's the sort of thing that's better done with friends anyway. So I might actually get to go to that this year, which would be pretty epic, ironically.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hopefully going. And again, like the tickets aren't super expensive, I think, because they're not, you know, what they offer in terms of experiences is really, really cool, but they don't do like the trick or treat type thing, so it's a little bit on the cheaper side. But yeah, I really like the idea of going to that. They don't announce what their haunted houses are going to be just yet, so it's kind of a bit of a waiting game. They've had some brilliant ones over the past few years, like they did a Last of Us house, they did one for season 4 of Stranger Things that looked really, really good. I think last year they did Fallout, which, whilst that's not a game series that I'm hugely into, the actual house itself looked really, really cool. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like. And you know, even though this is a Disney podcast, we might have to have a bit more of a chat about that nearer the time if we end up doing it. What else did I want to chat? Oh yeah, so this is predominantly interesting to me because I'm staying there this year, but the boardwalk. Now, the boardwalk's been a little bit of a ghost town over the past few years. A lot of the businesses around there have been like closing or moving elsewhere because a lot of like the offerings are third party. So they had like Jelly Rolls, which was the Jewel in Pianos bar on the boardwalk, that closed last year, I think, and a few other things had shut down. So like it was meant to be this kind of, you know, Atlantic City nightlife, you know, so much going on. It's an extra free little area, a little bit like a mini version of Disney Springs that you're meant to be able to go to. And it's had quite a lot of empty storefronts and like bars and things for a while. However, this week, new filings for new businesses at the boardwalk have gone in, and this has been picked up on and reported online. So the former Big River Grill and Brewing Works, which was near the entrance to the boardwalk. That has been picked up for business. We're sort of assuming it's going to be a restaurant again because that's what it was before, and it would make sense for that to be a thing like that. And then I didn't even realise this until I'd read today, but the Promenade Art Gallery closed last year. I missed out on this completely. Like, I didn't see this news article that it had shut. It shut like about a fortnight after we left. I don't know if you ever went to the Promenade Art Gallery. Did you walk around the boardwalk area when you've been there? You know, like around Crescent Lake?
Not too much.
No? You
So
should
no, I
make time
don't
to do it,
think I
dude. Like,
moved.
yeah, go resort hopping around Boardwalk and Yacht and Beach Club is great. It's really, really cool. But we went there, and it was like one of the only kind of, I wouldn't even call it a negative experience, but we went into the Promenade Art Gallery, and it's on the vlog, and the cast member there seemed very disinterested in engaging with us, speaking with us, answering questions that we had. And I think he sort of made this immediate assumption that we weren't going to buy anything because a lot of it's original artwork and sculpture, and it's all very, very pricey and expensive. And he was right. I wasn't going to buy anything from there because, like, whilst they had really, really cool stuff, it was all thousands and thousands of pounds. They had like a 15-foot statue of Ariel, which as soon as we walked in, my daughter was like, "How much is that?" And so I said to the guy, "Could you tell?" And he was like, "Oh, it's several tens of thousands." It's like a very just sort of dismissive answer. I was like, "Oh, that's unusual." I wouldn't think anything of it in a normal art gallery, but when you're in like the Disney art gallery, you're so used to the exceptional service that you have over there. I was quite surprised. Anyway, that place is gone.
Yeah.
Probably because everyone saw my vlog on how poorly I was treated. I'm going to think that's what it was. That's what I'm going with. But that's been picked up as... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. People were so appalled. Like, how can you do that to him? So no one knows what's in there yet, but it's called Project Bubbles, which is nice and vague. I can't discern anything from that. No idea what that could possibly be. But it's exciting because it means that new businesses are coming to Boardwalk, hopefully over the summer. So by kind of autumn time, I'm really hoping that there's a bit more going on there, a bit more in terms of like nightlife, things to do in the immediate area. We'll obviously talk about it a bit more as more things are announced, but I thought that was kind of, one to put a pin in and have a look at. So yeah, new business filings for Boardwalk. Boardwalk's coming back, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be nice if stuff like that's coming back. It'll also drive people to go more resort hopping as well.
Yeah, man. I love resort hopping. It's great. So, what else you got on your list, Sunshine?
So, I was looking at the Walt Disney Studios courtyard.
I do. It's due to open soon, right?
Looking like it's nearing completion. There's been some like signs and movie posters that have been putting up, and people can like obviously see it. So it's meant to be opening soon. I'm quite excited for that, honestly, because before we used to go and walk around that whole space because it was full of Star Wars stuff, of course.
The launch bay.
And now it not being launch bay and just being other things, I will still go and make time to walk around things. I enjoy doing things like that. I'm not going to lie. Like I enjoy going through little bits of like just little walkarounds where it's like out of the crowd for like 20 minutes. You're just walking around. It's nice and cool in there. It's shade. You can just have a few moments with your thoughts. It's really nice and just relaxing. It's similar to the One Man's Dream exhibition.
Yeah, the Walt Disney Presents. Yeah,
I really love going around that stuff. So I'm very excited for it to be open again.
Absolutely, man. Like, I will always lament the loss of anything Star Wars. Last time we were there, we had a really, really nice photo shoot with the PhotoPass photographer. So we went in, we did a couple of shots, and then Bean was dressed like Rey on that day, and she was just like, "Oh my God, she's absolutely adorable. Would you like us to take some extra pictures with her?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And like, Bean's just she loves the camera being on her, so like that went on forever. But that was really, really lovely. And I did like the launch bay, and I like that you can meet a couple of characters in there. However, as a use of space, I always felt like that was a big area with not lots going on in it. You had some like replicas of some of the miniatures from some of the films, a couple of those meet and greets, which they've kind of moved to like different areas of the park now anyway. And so it was like, I was like, it's sad to lose something Star Wars, but it looks like what they're putting in is really, really cool. So, Yeah. 26th of May, apparently, is the date that the courtyard's going to open. The Magic of Disney Animation, which is what I believe is going in that building, that's where they're going to have like the drawing class with the animatronic Olaf and a few other things. They don't have an opening date on that yet. So that part of it, that building itself that you can go into, will still be closed. But the new courtyard itself will be open with the Sorcerer's Hat, which is there now, and like you say, all the new signage. And I think there's meant to be like a little covered playground kind of adventure playground kind of thing in there, I think, from some of the concept art. So, but yeah, it's nice that that's going to be not blocked off with MDF painted green when we go, because I want to see that. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's like. I'm sure that will be popping up on YouTube all over the place as of like 2 weeks' time or whenever it is that it opens up. Very cool. The final scrim is now down at Woody's Lunchbox. So this apparently has taken 4 years of construction to build the seating expansion outside the lunchbox, because everyone was like, oh, we really love Toy Story Land, but it is like walking on the surface of the sun when you go through there, because it's all the concrete floors and there's like zero shade. I had a really nice meal at Woody's Lunchbox the first year that we went. It was, and again, it was just like that grilled cheese and tomato soup and whatever else, and it was delicious. But I was eating grilled cheese and tomato soup in, I think, 34-degree weather, like just crisping, just like audibly crisping in the direct sunlight, like as I eat this hot meal. So whilst I was kind of recognizing it was tasty, I struggled to enjoy it. So yeah, they started expanding the seating in January 2022. Finally opened it last year for people to actually use. And then the final bit of scrim that was around like one of the corners came away a couple of days ago, and that's it. It's done. But that's bananas, because like some things they work on like so quickly. Like you think about how long it's taken them to do this animation courtyard thing. Not that long, really, for such a big area. And for some reason, like putting these benches and some fancy umbrellas up and stuff, which like I know I'm being reductive, but like it's crazy to me that took that amount of time. I don't know if there were like obstacles with like building permissions and things like that, or it needing to pass certain like health and safety regulations maybe, but yeah, like that's crazy to me. But anyway, so that's done and dusted now. You can go and order your Pop-Tart from Woody's Lunchbox, and you can sit in the shade and still be far too hot because it's Florida. But at least you've not got direct sunlight on you anymore. Have you eaten there before? You a fan of that? It's obviously it's a quick service, but like, have you had anything from there?
I'm a big fan of that. In fact, I've got a very fond memory of it because my first time, I believe it was my first time in Florida. It was over my and Nellie's birthday, and we went to studios on my birthday because Ellie was like, "You'll like it," and I was like, "Cool." And then we went to Woody's Lunchbox, and I was wearing a badge, say it's my birthday. Cast member saw, said happy birthday, and I got a Pop-Tart for free. It was great.
Hey, we love a freebie.
Yeah, it was an absolute win. No, I can't. I just remember that happening. It was, it was a pink one. That's all I can say.
I mean, they're
but
kind
it was really nice.
Yeah, they're kind of a fun novelty. I think they can be a little bit dry sometimes, but I'm never going to complain about a freebie. A little sprinkling of pixie dust, that's lovely. And Toy Story Land is a great area. You know, like exactly. The fact that you walk in and you know you're effectively miniaturized, and everything's like it's meant to be Andy's backyard, and everything's built out of like his toys and everything else. So you know, all of the exteriors to like Toy Story Mania, well, the interiors to Toy Story Mania, it's all like board games that he's set up, and same with Slinky Dog Dash, it's all made out of like his construction sets and all. Like it's the level of Imagineering you expect from Disney over the past kind of 20 years. But yeah, they had definitely kind of neglected to consider shade a little bit in that area, so it's really cool that they've addressed that and that it's finally done and it's up and running. So yeah, I look forward to going and having my hot tomato soup in the cold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just found out it was a raspberry one I got.
Oh, okay. How did you find that out?
Really nice.
Did you go into your mind palace?
So yeah, I just went to my mind palace, my fortress of solitude, and I found the photo and then went on Safari and searched for the photo and then was like, boom, there we go.
Beautiful. So they have it. You can sleep at night, listeners. It was the raspberry Pop-Tart. They are quite nice. I like them.
Recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. The tots they do there are really good as well. You know, the tater tots with like cheese and bacon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, the kind of thing that you like, it depends what time of year you go and how susceptible to heat you are. Like, I swear to God, I eat maybe a third of what I would normally eat when I'm over there because I'm just like, I don't want to be made warmer than I already am. So I have like zero appetite, especially for hot food, unless I'm in like an air-conditioned building or whatever. So yeah, like when you're out there. But the Pop-Tarts, they're served cold, so they're all good. They are all good. Yeah, man. What else is going on?
I mean, this year, both, I think we have briefly spoke about this before, but yeah, both water parks are going to be open, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach.
Yes.
That's going to be great. I think it's going to be amazing. First time for a while, right?
So they did it last year for the summer, but that was the first time since like pre-COVID that they'd done it. And I was gutted because I think the summer season ends like just before we go, typically. So like, and obviously because it's a double-edged sword. Because your summer season is going to be busier, and that's why they put extra stuff on. So there's more bodies in the park. The park tickets are more expensive. Reservations are hard to get. But they do things like have both of the water parks open, or they will have Cool Kids Summer that they did last year, where like you had like Goofy doing the parties at Communicore Hall and extra characters walking down the street like Mary Poppins and Bert and things like that. And then that stuff kind of goes away. And then I turn up. So I always feel like a bit sad that I've missed out on that stuff. So like we've never been to Blizzard Beach because for whatever reason, whenever we've gone previously, it's been Typhoon Lagoon that's been the water park that's been open in the off season. Whether they plan on changing that at some point, I don't know. But it'd be nice to go and visit the other water park because there's this whole area of Disney World that I've just not been able to see because it's not been accessible at that particular time that I've gone. And it's unlikely that we'll be visiting in the next few years in a time of year different to that. It just works for us price-wise and in terms of just like how our year works to go at that time of year. So I'm kind of hoping they switch it out at some point. However, if you are the sort of person that gets to go during the summer, if you're taking a family and your kids are out of school and stuff, then that is really, really cool news for you because you're going to get the choice of both. And again, if you're in Britain and you're buying the UK ticket, the 14-day with the Magic Maker and the blah, 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 you get access to those water parks as much as you want. And they don't count towards your park ticket days. So say you're there for 16 days. Well, you get a 14-day ticket. That means 2 of those days you can't go into a theme park unless you're going to buy like a Halloween party ticket or you're going to buy a standard day ticket if you're the kind of person who would like to go Disney the whole time. However, you could spend 2 of those days at the Disney water parks. You could do one at Typhoon Lagoon, one at Blizzard Beach, and it wouldn't count to your overall ticket use. So that's really, really cool. I think they are also still doing the thing where if you stay on property, the day you check in, you also have access to a water park, whether you have a ticket for the theme parks or not. Like if you're checking in on that day, you can go and visit Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, which is cool because sometimes if you get in early, your room might not be ready. So if you've got like a few hours to kill, that's a cool thing that you can go and do. You just, you pack your swim stuff in like a separate bag or whatever. Go and hang out at the water parks all day, come back, your room's ready, bish bash bosh. But yeah, I think that's really cool. So have you done both of them? Have you just done Typhoon Lagoon? Have you just done Blizzard Beach?
Never been to either.
I think you've told me that.
I would like to, but yeah, we've never been to either of them. We're normally, I would like to one day, possibly, but we normally end up being there for 14 days anyway, but we also do Universal as well, and we'll do Discovery Cove too.
It's a lot to pack in.
So normally 4 days. Yeah, 4 days out of our 14 days are normally doing other things apart from Disney.
Yeah.
In which case we sacrifice the 2 water parks because we'd rather go to the other parks instead.
And I get that in terms of like list of priorities, it's going to be on the low rung. However, I would say I would make the time for it. Maybe take a morning. Like if you're going to do, You know, you could do like a half day in one of the parks. You could do the morning at Typhoon Lagoon, head back to the resort, get changed, grab a bite, and then like head into a park or something. But they're really good water parks. If you like water parks, if you like water slides, there's a cool lazy river. They're really great fun. Obviously, because it's Disney, there's all sorts of like additional things you can purchase. You can reserve an umbrella and chairs. They have lots of chairs, but it's very first come, first served. You can book a cabana if you've got a lot of money, because that's like hundreds of dollars. But if you do that, you get like a whole, you know, gazebo kind of thing with seating. And I think you get like table service. Like when I say table service, I don't mean like a meal, but like someone comes and takes your order
as well
for drinks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something I'd like to do at some point. But like you, because we're only going for 2 weeks this year. I think previously we've done like 3.5 week trips, and it's been easier to kind of sprinkle those kind of excursions in, because you don't feel like you're doing it and missing out on something else, or doing something, you know, instead of doing something that's more exciting than that. So, but yeah, I think that's really, really cool that they're doing that again, and that both are open. So yeah, if you guys are there and you like water parks, go and check them out. Go and check both of them out. Maybe do like a morning at one and afternoon at the other, or whatever. I'm not your dad. Welcome Home Weeks have been announced for 2026. So are you familiar with Welcome Home Weeks at all?
No, actually.
No. Okay, so
I am not.
So this is another perk of DVC. So this, like, skip ahead 5 minutes if you're not DVC and you're not interested in DVC. But if you own DVC, you get to enjoy, if you're there at the right time, Welcome Home Weeks. And what these are select weeks throughout the year where you get even more stuff, even more discounts, even more incentive to be one of the fancy pants members of the Mickey Mouse Club. So this year, from July 22nd to August 26th, are going to be the Welcome Home Weeks. And what this essentially means is you can go on a calendar and it will show you certain dates at certain restaurants. You can get 40% off your table service. So there'll be restaurants in different theme parks where if you just show your DVC membership on those days, you get a cheaper meal. You'll get 40% off all of your mains. I don't think it includes like your alcoholic drinks, but like any food you order and everything else. Really, really cool. They did that at the Diamond Horseshoe last year, and we did have a reservation for it. But then we sacked it off because, going back to what I said before, it was like 34 degrees and I did not want like a roast dinner. So we ended up not doing it. But had we done it, we would have paid less than everyone else in there for it. They do like morning meetups where they have free coffees and snacks. They'll do little talks and things where you can go and you can usually get like a little freebie, like a tote bag or a drinks mug or something like that. They do the movies under the stars at the resorts, and they do these at all the resorts, and anyone can go to them, where they'll set up a giant projector outside of the resort, and every night of the week they will play a different Disney film, and you can go and you can watch and you can buy popcorn. And it's just a nice way to chill out on a rest day if you're not going to a park or whatever else. If you are a DVC member on certain days during these Welcome Home Weeks, they will give you free candy. They will give you free big bags of M&Ms and things like that to enjoy while you're watching the films. They will give you, when they've done free Mickey Mouse ice cream bars, the premium bars. You go to the DVC lounge on a certain date, show your DVC membership, there's your ice cream. And then if you go to Disney Springs, you can get like free donuts, free pretzels, slushies, ice creams. There's like a whole list of them, but like Everglazed Donuts will do like a free donut if you are a DVC member and things like that. So that's not a reason to buy DVC. There's lots of other reasons to buy DVC, and that's not the main one, but it's a really nice little perk. So if you have considered it and you've not heard about that perk, that's one to maybe bear in mind if you tend to go during the summer. So we were there for it last year. They were not there for it this year, so we won't be able to enjoy any of that. But I think it's kind of a cool extra thing that they've added. And it's nice to feel special. And like we said before, everybody loves a freebie. Have you got anything else on your list for stuff that's going on at the moment?
No, I mean, that's it, really.
Yeah, I've got a couple more.
There's, that's it. I've got.
That's it. So, Smuggler's Run. I know we mentioned this a little bit last time, but we found out a little bit more about what goes on with this new Smuggler's Run now. I don't know how up to date with this you are. So it's from the 22nd, which is when the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out, and it is a new mission on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is beautiful. I'm so excited. And they had said before that part of what they were trying to do with this was address the fact that if you're an engineer, in the engineer role, when you go into the ride, for those who haven't done it, 6 people can go into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. 2 of you can be a pilot, 2 of you can be a gunner, and 2 of you can be an engineer. If you're a pilot, you fly the ship up or down or left or right. If you're a gunner, you shoot at the baddies or whatever it is that's on the thing. If you're an engineer, you press a button when somebody's bad at flying the plane. And it's a fun ride, whatever you do, but the engineer role was kind of, it's like no one really wants the engineer role, I don't think, or like, that was like the only kind of criticism that it had was it was a bit of a nothing role. However, they've said with this refresh, we're going to be making it a much more important role in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. And it turns out that essentially what that means is they are now making it so you can choose the destinations that you travel to in Smuggler's Run. If you are an engineer, you will get to choose the destination for the second half of the ride. Now, this includes visiting Bespin, the wreckage of the second Death Star over the forest moon of Endor, or Coruscant. So there will come a point in the ride where you are essentially, because I think Mando's hired you to chase some Imperials and some pirates or something, and there comes a point in the ride where he says like, oh, where do you think they're going to go? Who are we going to pursue? This sort of thing. And it's up to whoever's in the engineer seats to push the right button to take you. So what's really nice about that is not only does the engineer role now have something a bit more to something to do, something that's has more of a bearing on what's going on, but also it's re-rideability, because it's done that Star Tours thing a little bit, where, because obviously with Star Tours you've got loads of combinations of sequences that you can go on, and with this you're going to want to ride this several times, because you're going to want to see all of the different scenarios that you can go to and fly through and everything else. So I think that's really cool. I was excited for a new version of Smuggler's Run anyway, especially with Mandalorian. And now I'm like, and basically you're telling me it's going to be 3 different rides, and I'm now going to want to be an engineer and not just a pilot. That's really, really cool. Like, that's really exciting to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love being the pilot. Getting to pull the little lever and go into hyperspace is one of the best feelings I think I've ever had in my entire life. Like, that was just a beautiful moment. That was the 5-year-old in me absolutely bubbling up to the surface of my personality and just cackling with glee the first time I got to do that. That's such a cool moment. But I will no longer be irritated if I'm doing a solo day and I'm sitting at the back with a family of 4 with 2 6-year-olds crashing the Falcon into absolutely every single surface they can do, because I'll be able to go bam, we're going to Bespin, we're going to Cloud City, boys, strap in. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. That is it.
I like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's old news that we're Star Wars fans at this point, but anything like that's a really, really cool reveal, I think. That will do us for the news for this particular episode, and we're going to move on now to something that I messaged you the other day about wanting to talk about, and this has been covered here and there with like there's some other podcasts that touch on this, and like I think YouTube channels like All Ears and DFB and stuff will talk about this sort of stuff, but it's something that I wanted to kind of collate together and chat about, because if you go to Disney World in the second half of the year, odds are you're going in hurricane season due to where Florida is on the map. It is from June to November even. It's hurricane season, and you are more likely to be caught in a hurricane. It's not guaranteed. It's happened to us one year and then not the other year, so 50-50 at this point. But you will find that there is rain almost every day to some degree. I assume you found this to be true traveling at like that kind of year as well, right? Like, it just rains a lot there.
Very, very true. It just hammers it down at that point.
Yeah.
One year, I only took one pair of shoes, and they got very wet, and I resorted to buying some Crocs.
Okay.
I'd never bought Crocs before. Well, I had when they first originally came out when I was in I don't know, I must have been 12 or something like that. But I bought some Crocs, got some not so scary Halloween Crocs.
Beautiful.
The 2023 ones, they were great, and I was unstoppable in the water at that point. I just walked through it.
Yeah, that's it.
It was great.
Yeah, just aerodynamic welly shoes is essentially what you're wearing at that point. And an important thing to pack as well. You know, I think, you know, some people will take like a pair of flip-flops. Some people will take some Crocs. Some people will just take like a dry pair of socks and a dry T-shirt and like a Ziploc bag or something and throw that in a bag. There's a lot of things you can do. However, I think it's very easy to feel like your holiday is going to be ruined, especially if this is your first time going. If you look at your weather app or the forecast or whatever, and you can just see Monday, rain, Tuesday, rain, Wednesday, rain. Like if your week's just filled with that little grey cloud with the little lightning bolt coming out underneath it, it's really easy to kind of get a bit down in the dumps and think the holiday's going to be ruined. And it's not. It's really not. You know, this happens every year for half of the year. Walt Disney World in particular is very, very good at dealing with like severe inclement weather and providing a lot to do whilst it's raining. The cool thing about it is that when it does rain in the parks, loads of people leave. Loads of people just like write off their day and either go home or go back to their resort or whatever. And you don't have to do that. You absolutely do not have to do that. In fact, if you stick it out, you're probably going to have a much better time because wait times are going to drop right down because of all those people exiting the park. So you're going to get on rides quicker. The rain often happens, I would say usually sort of afternoon, mid-afternoon, from like 2 to 5, I feel like is a pretty regular time for there to be these like big rainstorms where you'll get 15, 20 minutes of it absolutely like coming down in buckets, like
hammering it down,
cartoon weather. And I mean, a lot of the time, like I just don't care. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's that British thing where we're just like, well, yeah, this is just weather. This is just what it's like. Because it's usually still quite warm as well. You know, it's like, it doesn't drop to like crazy low temperatures. Like you're still kind of warm in the rain. It can be quite refreshing in short bursts. But yeah, I've definitely walked around the park just getting wet in the rain and not really being that fussed about it. The only time I get bothered is when I then go inside and I then have to like, I'm in soaking wet clothes and I'm in like air conditioning that's taking it down to like 7 degrees or whatever. And then you start to worry about hypothermia kicking in. But what we wanted to do was spend a little bit of time talking about things you could do on a rainy day in Walt Disney World that isn't just writing it off and going back to your room. So I figured we'd start with Magic Kingdom. We've talked about this a little bit and we've broken it down park by park. So do you want to throw out your top of the list that you've got for Magic Kingdom in terms of what you would do on a rainy day?
So I've got so I mean the first thing that came to mind was if you're not bothered by the rain, they normally do a rainy day parade. Now I've only ever seen this once when I went in January and it was really nice. It was actually quite a nice parade and I was very happy that we got to sit and watch it. It's not a massive parade or anything like that.
No, it's quite short.
It's just really good to enjoy and watch it. You don't get to see it any other time. It only happens when it rains.
This is it. And it's, you can't plan for it. You can't schedule it. Yeah. So a lot of what it is they'll put a lot of the characters in the Main Street vehicles and drive them up and down and everything else. And the guys all kind of wave at you and stuff. And then you'll get some characters and people coming out in like, you know, in character, but in like raincoats with umbrellas and things like that. Like you said, I haven't seen it in person. I've seen a few videos of it online. Very, very cute. So yeah, I think that's a great one. If you can just kind of stand outside and deal with it. If it's absolutely crazy slamming it down, they won't do anything. But if it's just raining enough that they don't want to send the characters out, and they'll do that, and it's really, really cool. And I think we've talked in the past about things you should pack. Ponchos is something you should definitely pack. A mini umbrella is usually a good idea. You know, like one of the little kind of like handbag size ones that you can kind of fold up and put away. Like these things are cheap if you buy them beforehand. You can buy them in the parks. You can buy an official Disney poncho. You can buy an official Disney umbrella, but you'll be paying official Disney prices for it. So remember, jump on Amazon beforehand or go to, you know, B&M or you know, like a discount store, and they'll have that stuff there. It's absolutely worth taking with you. A lot of what I've written down here is indoor attractions, indoor shows, things like that. Yep. So I've got like Enchanted Tiki Room. I've kind of tackled the park in the way that I tend to move around it.
List.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I go clockwise when I come in. I go to Main Street, and then I'm typically into Adventureland, and then I walk around to Frontier, and and I typically do it that way unless I've got a specific thing that I'm heading to that's in a different area. So the Enchanted Tiki Room, like a really charming show anyway. That's one that I never pass up. It's lovely. It's great. When it's sunny, it's nice to take a Dole Whip in there because they let you, and you can just sit and eat your delicious frozen treat and enjoy the air conditioning whilst like hundreds of animatronic birds sing at you for about 15 minutes. Most of their queue system is undercover as well. So you might be outside while you're queuing for most of it, but it's covered overhead, so you'll be out of the direct rain. So yeah, I would absolutely.
It's also just such a good show. Like,
yeah,
I encourage anyone, if you've not done the Tiki Room, you need to go and do the Tiki Room.
Yeah,
is for me, I always have to do it. Like, it's such a good, like, nice little cozy show. If you go in, it's got a really I mean, I'm not going to spoil it because it's great if you've not been in it before, or even if you've not been in it for a while, it's probably still exactly the same. I've only been in, first time I went was 2019, but if you've not been for a while, I really recommend you go. I think the Tiki Room is so good, and I hope it stays with us forever and ever because I will always make time for the Tiki Room. Raining or sun, but definitely if it's raining, it's so worth just. And you'll find as well, like we were saying a minute ago, people tend to leave the parks right their day off. Normally that queue is always like a walk in or however long the show is, there is a show on already. You have to wait for it to finish. But getting under the cover in that, in the queue, I've never been outside queuing for Tiki Room.
No.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. Everyone should go to the Tiki Room. And
Absolutely.
Like you said, you can take your Dole Whip in. You can just watch these animatronics go off for about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And it's really cozy in there. It's really nice. It's never full as well, so it's not really claustrophobic. And if you don't really like sitting next to strangers, you never have to worry about that. It's absolutely great.
It's well spread out. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's nice because it's, with the removal of the lake and the Liberty Bell and all of that stuff, it feels less and less like the original Disney World Magic Kingdom is there. And I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is it feels like a genuine piece of Walt Disney's vision. His name's literally on the attraction. It's Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, The music's written by the Sherman Brothers. So it feels so classic Disney. It feels very nostalgic, even if you weren't alive when that stuff was coming out. It feels very like of that era, of the sort of, the 50s and the 60s. It's got such a classic vibe. And it's suitable for everyone because it's a show, and there's nothing scary in it. There's, anyone can go and enjoy that thing, and it's great. And you will be out of the rain for a lovely little chunk of time, which is all good, baby. Except there is a bit of rain in a section of the Tiki Room now I think about it, but you don't get wet, so you're fine. It's kind of happening out a window. You're all good. What do you got next, bud?
I was gonna say, hasn't Buzz just been redone?
Yeah, dude. I think we talked about this a little bit last time, but yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah. Tomorrowland's got
for a rainy day, you can totally just go that.
Yeah, Tomorrowland's got some great areas that you can go in for that. I mean, I was going to say Carousel of Progress.
Carousel of Progress
is, again, another piece of kind of classic Disney World, They've updated it over the years, but it still feels very, OG. They're adding a Walt Disney animatronic to the beginning of that ride at some point in the next year or so, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. But that's one that never really has much of a queue. If you do have to wait, you do have to wait outside, but you're under an awning, so you'll be dry, you'll be out of the rain. And then once you're in there, it is a 20-minute show, the Carousel of Progress. The amount of time it takes to do a full rotation is 20 minutes. So again, if it's one of these showers that's 15, 20 minutes, if that starts to hit and you head inside Carousel of Progress, odds are by the time you come back out, that thing's going to have passed over, and that thing's happening where it's gotten so hot again that the asphalt's steaming. So I think that's a really, really good spot for that. And there's somewhere else in Tomorrowland that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But what else have you got?
The next thing I have were, I don't know if this is what you were going to say, but I was going to say People Mover.
I wasn't going to say People Mover. No,
that thing is on. That thing will always be on. And I've done it in the rain before, and it's actually really nice. Again, if People Mover is another thing. Like, I feel like I'm maybe very boring, but I love rides like People Mover, or attractions like People Mover, Carousel of Progress, Tiki Room, Buzz, stuff like that. I find them absolutely brilliant, and I will always do People Mover. Me and Ellie, every single time. I think every single time we've been to Magic Kingdom, we have done People Mover at least once. Just because, again, it's a good 5 minutes. You get out of the sun, you get out of the crowds, and even if it is raining, you're then out of the rain. And as it's going through Tomorrowland, you're sheltered in People Mover, just going around having a look at it all. It's great.
I've got it on my list to do fireworks on the People Mover at some point. That's something that I've had recommended to me by quite a few people, so I think that'll be something to do. I love the People Mover, and like you say, I think Disney World does a good job of balancing those big thrill rides, like those big, we're gonna have to queue an hour or buy a lightning lane, but this thing's very intense and exciting, and balancing that with the kind of the chill, the stuff that you can walk into because it's either got a really high capacity or it's not necessarily something that people are desperate to go and see first. So, you can kind of know that you're going to get to go and do something that you're going to enjoy, but it's maybe going to be a little bit relaxing. It's something that you're going to get straight onto, and that's absolutely one of those things. Another one that I think fits that category quite well, staying in Tomorrowland, is the Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. We've done this a couple of times, and we do it during the Halloween party because it's one of the trick-or-treat stops as well. And it's really, really nice during the Halloween party because it doesn't stop. Normally, it's a 15-minute show, and for those that you don't know, a monster comes out on stage, and it's essentially a dude backstage, and he's got motion tracking software on his face, and it's like a real-time thing where a monster's engaging with the audience, telling jokes, picking people out, and making remarks about what they look like and stuff. And not in a mean way because it's Disney World, but that kind of thing. But again, the queue system, almost entirely indoors. In fact, I think it is entirely indoors. I don't think I've ever seen anyone queuing outside for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. So even if you have to wait a little bit for the next show, like with Tiki Room, you're going to be waiting indoors. You're going to be dry, and away you go. So that's another really, really good way to. So, I think the last three we've just listed there, if you did those three in a row, you're doing the best part of 45 minutes plus there. And that's just in one section of Magic Kingdom, and you've done three things that have kept you out of the torrential rain, and you've had a good time while you've been doing it. Anywhere else in Magic Kingdom that you would say is worth your time for going and staying dry and not having to worry about pain?
So I really enjoy, and I feel like this is actually a very Disney thing in general. I enjoy doing the Hall of Presidents and sitting in there every time, just going through the history of America's presidents. And I feel like that's something that obviously I am not claiming to know the mind of Walt Disney, but I feel like that's something I quite enjoy how it is, and I think it's great. I love going into it, learning about all the history of America's presidents. It's lovely. And again, it's one of them where you just sit in. It's about 20 minutes, and it's quite cozy in there. It's relaxing. You get to come off your feet for a bit. But if it's raining, you get to be in that little cozy room for 20 minutes, learning about all the presidents of America. Some people would be a one and done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we're really revealing the boring old farts that we actually are with this list, because we're just go in, just sit down and watch the animatronic men talk about history, everything. But it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. And sometimes it's just the tonic you need. If you've been on your feet, if you've done 6 or 7 miles walking around the park all day or whatever, if you've rope dropped and it's getting to 3:00 and there's thunderclouds, looming on the horizon, sometimes you just want to sit down for a little bit, man. You just want to You just want to soak in some Disney soaked atmosphere, and again, stay dry. But even on a dry day, I'll go in and I'll hit these shows. They're great. I think they're a good time. There's a reason that they've been running as long as they have with relatively little changes. I think they're kind of evergreen. I think they still really, really work. Something similar, old but then new at the same time, I would say, would be the Country Bears musical jamboree over in Frontierland. Yeah. That's another one. We're just kind of listing all the shows, but these are all quite different. Country Bears had this refresh a couple of years ago, and now it's all kind of like Disney songs and stuff. That's a show that lasts about 16 minutes, apparently. And again, it's another one where like you're only ever going to have to queue as long as there is a show running. So, like, you may have to wait 16 minutes if you've turned up just as the doors have closed for the current show. Other than that, you're not going to have to wait any longer than that. You'll get in. It's a big theatre. And the waiting area, again, is indoors, completely covered. You're safe. You're dry. It's all good. Have you got many others for Magic Kingdom? I'm aware that, like, we're at an hour and we've only done the first.
No. That's it for Magic Kingdom for me. I mean, there are others, but I feel like that's what I would do in
that's
Magic
cream of the
Kingdom
crop for you.
Raining. They're the ones that I would hit up.
Yeah. I'm gonna quickly list a couple of others that you can do. We won't go into them, but I did want to say Pirates of the Caribbean, big indoor queue system, great indoor dark ride, and then if you can get in, Beacon Barrel is right next door. So you could potentially see if you can get on the wait list for Beacon Barrel before you join the queue for Pirates of the Caribbean. And then, if you time it right, you could go through the queue, go on the ride, back out and get into Beacon Barrel. And you can hang out in there for 45 minutes and drink some of their delicious drinks and eat some of their delicious food. Enchanted Tales with Belle is another one that you can do. I would advise doing it if you've got a kid. I did it once without my kid, and I felt very, very weird because everyone else there had a kid, and it's essentially a thing about kids, focused on kids. And that was quite odd, me just being a 40-year-old man sat at the back of the room there. But it's a very entertaining show, and it's about 20 minutes long. So it's a good chunk of time. And there's a lot of like cool little magical things that happen in it as well. So, I think it's something that people will perhaps overlook a lot of the time, but it's fun. It's good. It's worth checking out. Haunted Mansion would be another one that you could go and do that would be good. Philhar Magic is another one that's good. So that's, again, another show. About 12 minutes long, but the whole thing, you wait indoors. You're probably only going to wait as long as the show that's currently on, and then the doors won't mean you can go through. But you'll be dry. Anyway, let's move on to Hollywood Studios. My list is a little bit shorter for this, so do you want to go with your...
My list is also slightly shorter.
Yeah, you want to go with your top?
So, at my top, I'm going to say the Frozen sing-along.
Yeah, dude. I think that was top of my list as well, the Frozen sing-along.
You ever been to it?
Yeah, man.
Brilliant.
I absolutely love the Frozen sing-along. I didn't think I would. I really didn't think I would. I thought, it's literally just going to be like clips from the movie with subtitles. And it's that and so much more. It's a really great live experience.
It's so good. It's also such a laugh as well. Like the narrators of it are so good at what they do.
Yeah, really good comedy timing, really good improv skills. You can kind of tell they'll go off script here and there a little bit. If people start joining in from the audience and things like that, you get a few nice little cameo surprises, and then a very exciting end as well, especially if you're a kid. The way that show ends.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. So the wait area for that is like a switchback outside, but it is covered, I think. So again, you can kind of get out of the direct rain if you need to for that. But it's quite a long show as well. It's about half an hour, which is pretty lengthy for a Disney World
it's long.
Show, to be honest with you. It's one of the longest in there, but it's worth your time. And again, it doesn't have to be raining for you to go and enjoy that one. I think people perhaps think what I thought, which is like, it's literally just clips from the film. Why would I can just watch that on Disney Plus at home? It's not. I mean, it is, but it's loads of other really, really cool stuff as well. It's genuinely funny. Really, really good. I would say after that, we talked about it a little bit before, but the Walt Disney Presents museum area, the little walkthrough that you can go and do, that's great. And again, it's more boring old fart stuff. Like if you've got like a 7-year-old who's had like 3 Mickey bars and is just like absolutely bouncing up and down and wants to go on a ride, he might not be up for this. But if you are a man of culture like we are, or a woman of culture, or however you identify. It's great. There's so much cool history in there. You get so much insight into Walt's life in general, his vision for the parks. Yeah, it's just a lovely little museum to walk around and take your time with, you know? Really, really great. And then I think they still have an aerial meet and greet at the back of that as well. I haven't done that yet, but it's the live action aerial.
Oh, I believe they do, yeah.
Yeah, and they will also sometimes have previews of upcoming movies that are about to be released in the cinema as well. You can sometimes catch a clip of something that's coming out. So usually,
What did we see? We saw something in there that was a preview. It might have been like was it Aladdin? Might have been Aladdin. Who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, they'll have like a little theatre and you can go and you can watch like a little, you know, a little package of whatever's coming out there. So again, it's a really nice way to go and spend time, and not necessarily the thing that you would think of in a Disney theme park, but it's there and it's worth your time. It's really good. What else you got, pal?
My next thing on my list, I have the Beauty and the Beast. No, that's Epcot. What am I doing? Yeah, no, there is a Beauty and the Beast show in Hollywood Studios.
The live show. Yeah, the live show in the big amphitheater.
The live show.
That's in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
kind of near the entrance.
Yeah,
it's near the entrance to like Fantasmic. It's over there.
Yeah,
whatever street that is.
Yeah. I was getting my parts mixed up then. Yeah, some street. But yeah, that's really good. We did it to escape the rain one time, where it was hammering it down, and we got in the queue, jumped straight in. Again, it wasn't too crowded. It's quite nice. Mm-hmm. Once we sat, the only thing I did have a complaint about is I'm pretty sure they're all on benches.
Yes.
So if you've got if you are like me and have really bad posture and you
human
need
shrimp
a back support when you sit down, you should maybe think about missing this one. But if you want to get out of the rain, it's a good show. Like, it is actually really good. Just grin and bear through the back pain. That's what I did. But overall, it is a lovely show. It's so good. It really is worth your time. I loved it. It's quite sheltered, but it's also open as well, so it's quite airy, which is nice.
They have fans and things running.
I think I would imagine. Yeah, there's fans running. I would imagine if it was like in the belting sun, that wouldn't be as fun, because I'd probably feel a bit. There's only fans. There's no aircon because it is outside still. Yeah. It's covered. But yeah, it is nice. I would recommend that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. You could say the same for the Indiana Jones stunt show as well. Although you will run into the same problem, because that is bench seating as well. So if you are a living prawn like Harry, then yeah, you might not be the most comfortable. But again, it's a nice long stunt show. They post times throughout the day that thing's running. You generally won't have to queue, but that's going to be kind of a matter of if that show's about to run when the rain hits. It's not perpetually running throughout the day. It's fixed times, and I think it finishes fairly early as well. So, if you can see those thunderclouds rolling over, check the app, see what's happening. If you're in that part of the park and it's about to start in the next 5-10 minutes, then wander over. That's a really good place to kind of wait it out. I've got like a bunch more on here. I'll quickly list through them though. Rise of the Resistance is a really good one. Again, you're pretty much indoors for the entire thing. You've got to briefly run through after you're recruited. You've got to run through to the transport, which is an outdoor area, although I can't remember whether that's covered or not. I don't think I've ever looked up, but that's a little technically outdoor area. But other than that, the queue system's indoors. That's like an 18-minute attraction as well when you consider all the pre-show and everything else. So if you factor that in with, your queue time and everything, then you're going to be in there for a while. And that whole thing is entertaining start to finish. We won't spend time talking about it because I think we've done Rise of the Resistance to death talking about it on this podcast, but it's brilliant and it's a really good place to go. And yeah, it's a really good place to go and wait out that rainstorm. Smuggler's Run is another one. Again, we've talked about that already. Star Tours, again, the nice thing about Star Tours is there's usually not too much of a wait. That's pretty much almost always a walk on Star Tours. So you can get straight in there. And then it's not the longest thing in the world, but it's a good chunk of time where you are indoors. And it's a great attraction as well. I really enjoy Star Tours. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add for Hollywood Studios?
Star Tours is brilliant. Studios, there's a Little Mermaid show, I believe.
There is. Do you know what? I didn't put that, and I didn't think to put the villain show either, which are both brilliant.
Yeah.
They're both really, really good. Again, the only thing that I would be mindful of is that they're not running constantly like the shows at Magic Kingdom. They will post their show times throughout the day, and they are typically every half hour or so. So that is something to bear in mind. And we have had to wait outside for Little Mermaid when queuing, and I think here at the villain show as well. So there is some outdoor queuing, but again, if you can time it right, if it just so happens that it's about to start or it's going to start in the next few minutes as that weather comes in, really, really cool. Really, really good. I would also add Toy Story Mania to my list as well, because that's a great indoor ride. It's not going to go off if there's inclement weather or anything. So we haven't mentioned this, but if there's lightning in the area, anything that's outdoors stops for like an hour. And that's just like a health and safety thing that they have to do. So everything that we've talked about so far, that will not happen because it's all indoors. But Slinky Dog Dash or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Big Thunder Mountain or any of those like big outdoor roller coasters, as soon as there's that spark of lightning, even if it's like 5 miles away, that's it. It's going down. And I don't think it reopens I don't think it reopens until a certain amount of time has passed where there's been no lightning as well. So, at that point, everyone's going to be kind of fumbling for things to do. Whereas if you've got this handy dandy list we've laid out, you've got a plan and you can figure out where you're going to go first. Cool. Should we move on to Epcot?
Yeah, Epcot.
Yeah. Cool. So
we've got.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I was going to say no. I was going to say American Adventure.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, as in the attraction, the big animatronic thing that goes on in there. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Again, you wait inside while you're waiting for that show to start. It shows running consecutively. You need to be in the right area of the park to get to that in time, but it's a really great show. And again, it's old-fashioned animatronics talking about history, which apparently is mine and Harry's favorite thing after Star Wars. It's a revelation that has just occurred to me today, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got two, and when I say one, you'll guess the other one, and they're kind of a big catch-all. They're not a single attraction or experience. They're a whole area, and I think you know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to bring up the first one, which is the Land. So the Land is a pavilion. The Land is an area that is entirely encased indoors in Epcot, and contained within the Land is a bunch of different stuff. They've got the Garden Grill restaurant, which you do need a reservation for. However, if you're hungry, you could always try and get a walk up. It's really cool. It rotates, and it's character dining, and it's all you can eat. We have a great time at Garden Grill. Victoria's really, really looking forward to going back there this year. They also have a quick service downstairs. And then in terms of other things you can do inside the Land, you have Soarin', which we talked about earlier this episode. So Soarin' is a flight simulator of a kind where you sit in a row and you get taken up in the air and you're sat in front of this giant screen that wraps all the way around you. And then you feel like you're soaring across America. As well as that, you've got Living with the Land. Living with the Land is great because we'll usually have a queue, but the queue moves so quickly, I feel like I never wait for that ride for more than 5-10 minutes. I know at Christmas it can get a little busier because they do like a Christmas overlay for it, but for the most part, you can usually walk on that thing pretty quickly, which is really, really nice. And then the other thing that's in there is Awesome Planet. Awesome Planet, you won't necessarily want to do every time you're in there, but if it's absolutely heaving it down and you've already done Soaring and you've already done Live with the Land and you've had a snack, I don't know, man, maybe go check it out. Maybe go and watch the film. It's like 10 minutes long. What else are you going to do? You're going to get wet if you go out there.
I'd say go watch it for sure.
Yeah, cool. What else have you got for Epcot?
I've got the aquarium.
Yeah, this was going to be my next one. I was going to say the
Check out
sea.
the aquarium.
Yeah, the sea.
Yeah, the sea. Yeah, it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's great. And again, the sea, much like the Land, completely covered an entire pavilion. You can spend, and we often do, spend ages in the sea because of all the fish and the manatees. They foster manatees in there. They used to have dolphins, but the dolphins were sad, so now they don't have dolphins anymore. They do have manatees, and the manatees that are there are rescues, so they're being rehabilitated, they're being fostered to either be re-released into the wild or taken to another permanent, like, situation. So it's not exploitative. They've got turtles. It's great. They have rides in there and experiences. So they have the sea with Nemo and friends, which for my money might be the worst ride in all of Walt Disney World. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think that is so boring. I couldn't, again, like, if it's absolutely hammering it down and I'm stuck in there, I'll go and do it, but it does nothing for me, that ride. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I actually really enjoy it. Me and Ellie go on it every time.
Well, good.
Every single time we will go on it. Not so we don't overly enjoy Nemo and things like that. However, I am going to mention Nemo a bit later on in this. But I don't know. There's something about that ride that I do just enjoy going on, seeing all the animatronic. I think it's quite fascinating how they've tried to do. It's the same with the Little Mermaid ride as well. That, like, I just find it really fascinating. It's really cool, as in, like, temperature wise, and maybe I slightly like it because it gets me off my feet for a bit.
Yeah, I guess
as well. It's just nice.
I don't know. Maybe I'd set my expectations too high. I think with the Little Mermaid ride in Magic Kingdom, at least it's animatronics. It's something moving through physical space.
Oh yeah.
I feel like 95% of what you're looking at in Finding Nemo is TV screens or TV screens with a fish tank behind it.
Yeah.
There's like one or two moving, and when I say moving, it's literally like a little cave like that, and then a little shark's head goes.
Yeah, it's just a little thing.
Hello, Nemo, and then goes back in again. And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? What did you run out of money? I thought this was Walt Disney World. Yeah, I just find it really dull. But again, if you're looking to kill time, it's an all ages ride. It's perfectly accessible, so you can take little ones on it and everything else. You also have Turtle Talk with Crush in the sea as well, which is a really good time. I really enjoy doing that. That's typically about 15 minutes long, and it's another one like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor where Crush is on screen and he's engaging with the audience and people are asking him questions and he's responding. Very fun. And Crush is normally pretty funny as well. Like I laugh out loud several times at Turtle Talk with Crush. It's really good. And then you've got, like, I think it's called Bruce's Shark World. There's like a playground based on the sharks from Finding Nemo for kids. So again, like, don't get me wrong, it is not the most entertaining for me, but Bean absolutely loves being in there. She loves it. And it makes me laugh because I've heard other parents talk about this at Disney World where, like, you've got all of this mind-blowing stuff, all of these, like, cutting-edge animatronics. You've got just next-level technology and ride systems and, like, billions of dollars in R&D being brought to life in the most, tangible, modern, 20 experiences. And the kids want to either be in the swimming pool or they want to be running around in the playgrounds. I'm just like, what are we doing here? We could be doing this for free at home, but they will have a wonderful time. You can climb in a giant shark's mouth and all sorts of stuff. So the sea is really, really good. And again, just big and a lot to do. There's scavenger hunts that you can do in there with, like, they have these little booklets and they've got, like, little questions and things in there so you can find out information. And so there's actively stuff to do instead of just passively walking around and looking at the display. So that's really, really good as well. But yeah, man, great choice. The sea, very, 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 very cool. I would say, and this is probably going to be my hot take, but the Imaginarium. I love Figment.
Yeah.
Figment needs more love.
Yeah,
I like that we're seeing more Figment merch. I like that he's kind of become the mascot of Food and Wine. I know a lot of people think his ride is very outdated and rubbish, but that's kind of the charm of it for me. It feels so 90s. Feels like it desperately needs an update, but I still love it at the same time. I love the fact that it's got references to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Flubber. Just like, wow, contemporary. And Eric Idle's like the guy that's on the ride and stuff. I love it. But what's nice about Journey is that when you come out of Journey into Imagination, you come out into that area where they've got the the little dance floor where you can step on it and it makes different musical noises, and there's like a Simon Says kind of game on the wall that you can play with, and there's like this thing where you wave your hands in the air and it makes different musical sounds. There's screens where you can design your own Figment dragon and email it to yourself, and then there's the Figment meet and greet in there as well. So whilst it's not as expansive as something like the land or the sea, the Imaginarium actually has a lot to do in it if you've got little ones. I think it's a really good space to spend some time out of the rain. And if you're DVC, not to belabor the point, but the Epcot DVC lounge is upstairs at the Imaginarium as well. Or the Imaginatrium, or whatever they call it. So you go in, you show, and you go upstairs, and you get snacks and everything else, which is nice. And there's a cool little gift shop. So that would be my next entry for Epcot. Have you got another for Epcot?
Canada Far and Wide.
Yeah, I had that down.
Little hidden gem.
Yeah.
Same with that. There's one in the China Pavilion as well.
Yeah.
You might not have even known it was there. It's a nice little place
tucked
to
away
go behind Canada.
Yeah.
Hidden. But it's really cozy. It's really nice you stand in this big 360 cinema. It's absolutely fantastic. You're just watching these screens of like the beauty of Canada, and same with the Chinese one as well. You're just seeing how beautiful these countries are. It makes you want to go to them. Like I finished that, and I was like, I want to go to Canada. But yeah, it's great. So I recommend them.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. The Mexico Pavilion is a lovely pavilion, and it's a great pavilion to be in when it's raining, because you've got a ride in there. You've got places to eat. You've got places to drink. You've got the exhibits in the front. The only issue that you will have with the Mexico Pavilion is I think that's where everyone thinks to go when it starts raining. That seems to be like the place that springs to mind for everyone in Epcot. So it does get very, very busy in there. But it might be my favourite pavilion of World Showcase anyway. I just really like the vibes in there, and I like La Gran Fiesta as well a lot. So it's a good one to go and spend some time in. It's just got like a really nice, like I say, a really nice vibe to it. It's big and it's fully covered. So yeah. Have you got others?
No, you've said mine. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
With
the only other ones that I would add would be Communicore Hall is a good one. Guardians of the Galaxy is a good one because it's just got such a good ride queue.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Spaceship Earth. Again, like, because when you come out of Spaceship Earth, instead of just being booted straight outside, you've got that area with all the like the computers and the driving games and stuff that you walk into. And again, it's just a nice, you're not immediately booted back into the weather. You can spend as much time as you want in there, and there are things to do and things to keep you entertained. So that's a good one. Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom ended up being my shortest list. And I think that's because it is, the nature of the park is that it's outdoors because animals, right? So the vast majority of stuff that you do there is going to be outside. There's a lot of stuff that's just, you know, I've got a couple of bits.
True.
Yeah.
But so I love Animal Kingdom. And anyone that ever says it's a skip, I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
No, it's great.
So on a rainy day, I think Animal Kingdom actually might be the best park to go to.
Interesting.
And the reason for that is because you've got shows, which we'll go about in a minute.
Yeah.
However, the safari in the rain, a lot of the animals quite enjoy the rain. And they're out and they act and behave differently in the rain and during the rain. And because of that, it's so much better than all the other parks, in my opinion. In the rain, this is. I honestly love Animal Kingdom so much. And it's so good. And for all the animals, and if you're going in the safari, seeing all the animals there that are still out, fantastic, must do. You know, it's great.
I will say, I think it depends on how much rain. I think, like, you've got a great point.
Well, yeah.
I think if it's raining like a standard amount, if it's just rain, that's fair enough. I think if we're getting up there in terms of like not hurricane, but you know, like you know how it can get. If it's coming down like, you know, fist-sized rain droplets, like I feel it does from time to time, I'm not sure the covering on those Kilimanjaro Safaris trucks is going to be adequate for keeping you dry for that experience. But you make a very good point that the animals are generally going to be a bit more active because the temp cools a little bit and they like being out in the water and stuff. So that's a really good one. You mentioned shows. So that was going to be two of the ones I was going to hit were going to be the shows. So arguably the best show in all of Disney World.
For me.
There's 3 shows for you. Okay. So the first one I'm going to go for is going to be Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond. I was surprised by how good this was. I really was. Because Finding Nemo is not a musical. The movie is not a musical. It's just, it's a standard Pixar film. So I was like, what is this going to be like? And then it is like watching a half-hour long Broadway show. The music's fantastic. The puppetry's really, really good. They managed to condense the story down in a really, really concise but entertaining way. It's wonderful. We really enjoy it. And again, it's one we do every time we go. It's really, really great. So yeah, that's one to go and check out. If you can get around there when that show's running, go check that one out.
For sure. It's so good. I really enjoy that show.
Cool. So what else have you got on there?
So the next show, which this is the one that I think is personally, this is my favourite show. Maybe in all of Disney. Maybe. The Lion King show.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
I love it. I will go and see it every single time. I might even see it twice, because we always do Animal Kingdom twice.
Yeah.
I might even see it twice.
Why not?
It's so good. I love that show. And it's a good, 20 minutes, sit down, chill out. They get the crowd involved as well.
They do.
Which is quite nice. So, yeah, good show. Great one. Love the atmosphere.
It is a 30-minute show. Half an hour, that show.
Is it 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's a 30-minute show. And it doesn't feel like it when you're in there. It whips by, but I think that's because it's so entertaining. No. And they do so much in there. So you do have the songs, but then you have like aerial work and you have tumbling and gymnastics and really, next level, entertainment. It's brilliant. It's really, really well done. The one that I'm going to talk about, I've technically not done yet, which is Tree of Life, the new Zootopia show, Better Together. So obviously I've done the old show. I've done It's a Bug's Life. And I liked It's a Bug's Life.
What show?
I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I liked the sort of 4D elements to it. And I like that it's, again, a show where I get to sit down in air conditioning or be dry when it's raining or whatever. So that was really good. But from what I gather, they're utilizing a lot of the same elements from It's a Bug's Life. So whilst the show itself is different, you're still getting a very similar experience, except now it's just based around Zootopia. So that is definitely one to go and check out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it and seeing what it's like when we go this year. So that would be it. Have you got another for Animal Kingdom?
No, that was the other show I had.
That was the other show. The only other thing I would put for Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is it's indoors and it's got one of the best queue systems in Walt Disney World. I think again, it's one of the newer rides. I mean, not brand new at this point, it's a few years old, but it's one of those ones where they'd really taken into consideration the fact that this thing was going to be very popular and people were going to be standing in these queues for a long time. So you better give them things to look at, things to engage with. So you go through this lab, you see this giant avatar, in a tank, and there's like ferrofluid dancing around in all of these little jars and things. It's great, really entertaining. And even on a quiet day, you'll be in that queue for a little while, but it's an indoor queue. Unless it's crazy, crazy busy, in which case you'll switch back out. But typically speaking, I have never had to queue outside. It's always been the indoor queue system, and it's a lovely queue system. So if you're going to go and wait somewhere, wait there. So that's it for the theme parks. A couple of the other things that I wanted to bring up were resort hopping. Now, obviously that sounds like it's quite difficult to do if you're trying to stay out of the rain. However, if you are near Magic Kingdom, you can be on the resort monorail line and you can visit 3 different resorts, 3 very different feeling resorts, 3 quite expensive resorts, 3 resorts that actually have quite a lot to do. So you can visit the Grand Floridian, you can visit the Polynesian, and you can visit the Contemporary. So you can just jump on the monorail, hop off, go in, and they have all the stuff that resorts have. They have gift shops, they have cafes, they have bars, they have restaurants that you might be able to get walk-ups to, or a short reservation. Depending on what time you go, if it's really rainy, they might have characters in the lobby. They'll have pin trading, and it's just really lovely to look around at the different resorts. On the last vlog series, it was one of my favorite things that I did was going and checking out all of these different hotels and kind of going like, oh, it'd be nice to stay here. I'm not sure about this place and everything else. So, but that's like, you could fill an afternoon doing that easily. You know, these resorts have like arcades and things as well. If you're at the Polynesian, you might be able to go to Trader Sam's, the Grog Grotto. That's a great experience. And you don't reserve that. Well, you do, but you have to physically go to the resort to do that. So you'd have to be there. So if you go, you can try and get into that. And that's a wonderful way to spend some time as well. So I would say, don't necessarily think of stuff that you have to do in the parks. You know, you could go and spend your time at Magic Kingdom. And if you do want to leave when it starts to rain, don't necessarily go home. Go check out the resorts for the afternoon and, you know, zip around on the monorail and kind of see what's there. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add in terms of things that you can do on a rainy day?
No. I think that's everything for me.
Yeah.
You kind of covered it with the resorts as well. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for me.
Yeah.
I would say always check in with the resorts as well, because sometimes they do have like activities like arts and crafts. They have
really
like a Mickey's tie-dye thing as well.
Yeah.
I know Animal Kingdom Lodge does an art tour with all the art in there and everything as well.
Yeah.
So always just check in, maybe talk to reception. You can also look online if you want to, but the receptionists are always absolutely lovely people.
Yeah.
And yeah, just have a look. Have a look. Sometimes staying in a resort is fun.
They do.
We've planned a day to have half a day in a resort.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Each hotel does a scavenger hunt as well. I say a scavenger hunt, but it's you have to find a character. So there will be a character mascot in each hotel Disney resort. And they hide it in a different spot every day. So when you're at the Riviera, it's Pascal from Tangled, and you have to hunt around the resort to find. And he's like a little, you know, he's like a cardboard cutout about this big, and they'll plop him somewhere. And if you do that, you go back to usually the little craft room community hall thing that they have, and they'll give you a sticker or a badge free for finding them. And there's a different one, so you could go and do that. So like when we went to, I think it was like Yacht Club, it was. Oh man, I forget the fake fan, the sheepdog from The Little Mermaid. You know, it was him, and like being ran off and was spending ages trying to find him and stuff. So that's another thing that you could be doing while you're there. So moving on to our final section today, and thank you for sticking with us because this is a long episode, but I'm having fun talking about it. So it ties into what we're talking about, and that is the hurricane season. So if this is your first time going, this might be something that you're worried about if you're going in between June and November. If you've been before and you've not run into a hurricane, you might not know about this sort of stuff. But I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about it. Have you had any trips where you've been there for a hurricane at all?
I want to say no, but like there was, one time I heard the term hurricane, but I literally was just walking around still.
Okay.
Just doing my thing. But yeah, no, I'm going to say no for me.
Yeah. So the first time we went, the first time we went, we were there during a hurricane. It didn't hit Orlando particularly hard. It was hard enough that they closed the parks early on one day, and there was definitely weather. We actually went into Magic Kingdom on the day of the hurricane because I don't know, Matt. It just look, if you live there, it's very, very serious. And I'm not detracting from the fact that people lose their homes and they lose their businesses, and it can be really devastating. Yeah. What we saw on this particular instance in Orlando for this particular hurricane was a day of bad weather in Britain, is what it felt like for us. There was 45 minutes of like real wind and rain, then 2 hours of nothing while you were in the center of it, and then you get that second band come through again as well. But what was nice about it for us was everyone was at home like battening down the hatches, so the park was absolutely empty. Now, I'm not saying that you should follow what we did and go to the parks. Like, you know, check out how seriously the locals are taking it. If those guys are frightened, then hunker down. But what I will say is if you're there during a hurricane, Walt Disney World is one of the absolute safest places you could possibly be. If you're staying on property, or to be honest, most of the hotels in that area, but Walt Disney World in particular, the resorts and all of their buildings are built with hurricanes in mind. They are built to withstand Category 5 hurricanes, they all have their own power grid. Their electricity lines run underground, and they all have their own water as well. So if like the general power and water goes off in the area, the Disney World properties are probably not going to be affected. It's not to say it never happens, but it's less likely if you're on property. With that in mind, if there is going to be a hurricane, you'll know about it ahead of time because they'll all be talking about it. They'll let you know in the lobbies. They'll let you know at the parks. They'll put like slips of paper through the door if there's going to be a hurricane that's going to kind of affect the way that business is running while you're there. I would say maybe shower like the night before the hurricane's due to hit, just in case the water goes off. And make sure all your devices are charged up as well, just on the off chance, but you should be fine. They do normally give you, they can tell it's coming in off the Gulf. So you usually have a couple of days to prep. It's a good idea to get like snacks, drinks and food and stuff for your room. If you're in a value or a moderate resort, those rooms all have doors that open directly outside. They're all like motel style. So in the event of a hurricane, they will have a stay in place order, I think it's called. And basically you will not be allowed to leave your room until it's passed, which can be anything from 24 to 36 hours, typically. Day and a half at the most before these hurricanes move on to other areas of the country, and you're normally good to go. But they will want you to stay indoors and remain safe. If you're in a deluxe resort, the advantage of being in a deluxe resort is that they have doors that open inside. You are typically in the building. You're not walking directly out of your room into the outside. You're going into a corridor, which means you have access to all of the amenities and the facilities of that resort. One of the really nice things about that is that you will be able to use the restaurants provided they're running. They try and keep those running as much as they can. If for some reason they can't staff it and they have to shut the restaurants down, they will have like packed lunches for sale, essentially, that they make up, and it's got like sandwiches, snacks, all of that kind of stuff, and you can buy those if you've not been able to go out to like a supermarket and get your own food. They will put characters in the lobbies a lot of the time, so you can go down to the lobby and they'll have characters there and they'll be playing games and things. The arcades all get switched to free to play mode as well, so if you're there and your resort has an arcade, and most of them do, you'll be able to just go and play those games as much as you want as entertainment. And anywhere that's got a TV, they'll be running movies like Disney films like 24/7 as well. So they do their best in these instances to provide entertainment for you. Yeah. The other thing I would maybe consider, if you're going out and shopping and prepping and stuff, get like maybe some board games, some books, something like that. Because again, like, if power goes off, you're going to be pretty bored just sat in your room. Like if you've not bothered to charge your phone up and everything else, then so it's all, it's worth doing that sort of stuff. And these things can happen, and they do happen. And they usually get a few good hurricanes in every single year. And a lot of the time it is really not very disruptive at all because they're so used to it. The hurricanes were there before Walt Disney World, and the hurricanes will be there after Walt Disney World. So they have all of these systems in place to deal with it, and you really don't need to panic as long as you're kind of following their advice and stuff. But it's really nothing to worry about, and they're all really, really great at like making sure that you're looked after and it's all dealt with and everything else. Which is weird because it feels like quite a scary thing to talk about, but if you're going to be in a hurricane anyway, you might as well go and do it at Mickey's house, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Anyway, bit of a somber thing to end the episode on, I suppose. But I don't know. I thought it was important to kind of talk about it because it's information that like is out there, but it's kind of scattered. It's peppered all over the place, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to put it all together there and just have a bit of a chat about what will happen. Typically, after a hurricane passes, everything opens back up again. You'll find that there's like some branches and stuff, but they're really quick at cleaning all of that sort of stuff up as well. And then you can just kind of go back to your fantasy adventure of pretending that the real world doesn't exist and spending all your money on Mickey Mouse things, which is what we're all there for. Anyway, that's going to do it. I think we're about an hour and a half, which is probably our longest episode so far. So if you've stuck with us, thank you. Every time I'm going to try and rein it in a little bit. I'm going to try and, fewer news points, and we're going to try and, but then it just doesn't happen. And it's, you get me waffling about Disney World and that's it. So I apologize, but here we are. You can watch this on YouTube if you're not watching it on YouTube. If you are watching it on YouTube, you can also listen to this on Spotify. We're everywhere. If you do enjoy the show, please consider subscribing. Please consider liking it. It helps with the algorithms in terms of getting us in front of more people. The other thing you can do is just tell people to go and listen to our Disney World podcast. We would really appreciate it. It's really nice getting to talk about this and just chat. I mean, we're going to do it either way because it's just fun to waffle about the things we like about Walt Disney World once a month. But it's also nice to know that people like listening and take something of value from it as well. So feel free to reach out and drop us a comment and stuff as well. You can find me on Instagram. We've got the Oh No Disney Adults account over there. So, give that a follow, say hi. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you very much, as usual, Harry, for jumping on and letting me bend your ear for longer than we either expected, I think.
Nah, it's all good. It happens. We both enjoy talking Disney, and at the end of the day, I love getting together at least once a month, having a chat about all things mouse,
Absolutely, man. And it's all hype because the next trip is just around the corner. Do you know what your countdown is?
I believe it is 104, 105 days.
That sounds about right. We're at 116 today, and you're going to be there essentially 2 weeks before us. So yeah, that pretty much tracks.
Yeah.
Oh man, it'll be here before you know it. It'll be here before you know it. You'll be on that plane.
I can't wait.
That sweet, sweet Florida sunshine. All right. So thank you very, very much once again. This has been Oh No Disney Adults, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I'm